Hello everyone and welcome to the SOB3D YouTube channel. We are in the third part of the Nino Devkit introduction series. Be sure that you've already watched the two previous parts in this series to be able to follow accordingly. In this part of the series, we will be exploring another way of making clothing for the Nino body, and this time around we will be using a software dedicated to cloth simulations, and that would be Marvelous Designer. Please note that unlike Blender, Marvelous Designer is not a free software, so feel free to skip on to the next part of the series if you do not own the software at this time. Also check out the previous video in this series where we use a free software, Blender, to make clothing items for the Nino body. Onto the tutorial. Start by opening up the Marvelous Designer project that comes with the SOB3D Nino Devkit. Proceed to press H to bring up the polygon tool in the 2D pattern window and draw patterns for your clothing item. To create curves, hold Ctrl and then click around the midpoint of the curve, then continue the curved line to your desired midpoint. Proceed to completing one half of your pattern and unfolding with symmetric sewing if desired. I recommend adjusting the particle distance settings to your need. For this tutorial, 10 was used. Also be sure to check the remesh option for an all quads output. Ctrl+C and then Ctrl+V to duplicate the front face. Flip the normal of the new face and position accordingly to make the back face. Using S, create rectangles in the 2D pattern window that will represent our sleeves for the shirt, making sure that both have their particle distances set to the same as the main shirt and have remesh checked as well. Using adjustment points, position the sleeves around the arms so that the sewing is easier to set up. Split the sides of the sleeves that will be sewn onto the shirt by right-clicking the lines, clicking on split and checking uniform split. This is done so that they can sew both to the front and back faces accordingly. Using N, set up your sewing lines accordingly. When done, run your simulation. Adjust your patterns if need be to get your desired results. After that, select all patterns by pressing Ctrl+A. Go to File, then Export, then OBJ selected. Make sure you have Single Object, Weld, and the Thin options selected. Now, open up the modeling blend file included in the SOB3D Nino Devkit. We will be baking the textures for our object with it. Import your object from Marvelous Designer into Blender using File, Import, Wavefront OBJ. Upon import, make sure your object is the only thing selected in the outliner. Press the period button on your numpad to focus your view on the object imported. You will notice it is much larger than the objects in the blend file already. Proceed to press Ctrl+A, then click on All Transforms. Then you can go ahead and press S, then type 0.01. Press the period on your numpad again to bring the scaled down version of the shirt into focus. Assign materials to your shirt as desired, as well as adjust the UV maps. Once done, you can go into your shading tab to add your destination images for texture baking. Ensure the shirt object is the only one enabled for rendering, then hit the bake button under render properties. Go back to the shading tab to preview your textures and ensure everything was baked accordingly. You can also set your viewport shading lighting to flat and color to texture to have a full preview of the baked textures. And that is it for this tutorial. Thank you again for watching this tutorial. I hope that you found the tips shared in this video helpful. Be sure to check out the next video in this series where we take a look at rigging the shirt object for imports into IMVU Studio. Go ahead and leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Also be sure to leave comments in the comment section regarding the feedback or questions you might have. Thank you once again for watching and see you in the next part.